Hello, welcome to this week's beginning of using Access. What I've got on my screen for you is Blackboard, and we've got the week 5 folder up on the screen. It shows what we're doing. If you click on that, then it'll take you into what we're doing for week 5, but this is all about Access, and so listed here on the screen are the Access Chapter 1 guided assignment and the Access Chapter 1 assessment that you can get to. Now you should see icons right here that won't just say Pearson My Lab. But since this is Access, you need to know that Access is a relational database. And if you need to know more about it, and hopefully you'll take the time to look at it, if you go under textbooks and look and see there, and I'm going to move this over a little bit, scroll down so that comes into view. Here is our Access textbook that we're using for this semester. If you click on that link, then you can see what is available to you. And so if you then click on your menu or table of contents, you can see we're going to be using this Microsoft Access Comprehensive. We load that up, and then we can see that here's Chapter 1, but that's for Office. So you don't want to do Office. What you really want is this right here, starting on page 68. So Access Chapter 1, Introduction to Access, Finding Your Way. So if we go back to Blackboard, I'm still in that weekly assignment. Will be in that weekly assignment. Scroll down here. Click on that. In order to do these assignments, all you'll need to do is click here, or if you're in the My T-Lab, you can click on the assignment calendar and see what's due and what's coming up. So the way this works is you'll click here and it'll prompt you to download some information. So you'll see here, download starting materials, work assignment, and if I move this over so it's a little smaller on the screen or you can see it, then you will submit your assignment here, and we'll work through all of that this first time for you. So you click on download materials. Now you can download right here with this button, but that'll create a zip file or a compressed file that contains both of these files in it. You'll need to unzip it and remember where you unzipped it at so you can get to that content, work on it, save it, and then upload it. You can also download each individual item that's for this assignment. Just make sure you understand where you're saving it. And I've already saved it in this folder once, but I'm going to save it again. I'm going to download this file as well. Notice it's putting a little 1 out to the side. Notice that this file ends in .accdb. That is the Access database extension, and that's the file that you'll need in order to upload. Once you're done, you just hit close here. Then you can go and get out into your computer and find where you saved those files and start working on them. So here are my files, and as you can see on the screen, I got 2 copies. You shouldn't have 2 copies. I'm going to go ahead and open up the instructions. I can look at that. What I typically like to do is if I have a wide monitor, I will open up the instructions on one half of the screen. You don't need to see this at 175%, and then the other Access database on the other. But because I'm using a smaller screen here, I'll just put it on my other monitor and read to you. So you should have yours open as well. And now I'm going to open up the Access database. And when it opens, you're going to see something like the following. So notice it says enable content. You're going to need to do that so that you're not in read-only mode anymore. And then you'll have what you see on your screen. I would go ahead and save it if it gives you that option. If not, you're okay. Hit the back arrow key. And if you'll notice, so now we're in Access database, the relational database. It opens up objects that are available to you in the database. This one has already got some pre-built objects in it. So it's got some tables, it's got some queries, it's got some forms, it's got some reports. So this is the book inventory walkthrough, if you will. And what I mean by walkthrough is if we go back here, this is the guided assignment. You need to complete the guided assignment as well as the regular Chapter 1 assessment. So I'm just showing you how to do the first one, so there's no reason why you shouldn't get 100 on that. I'm going to go back to my Access database. So step 1 says open and download the Access database. We've got that. So it should be exploring A01 grader. Consider student here. It should have your name or your last name here. It says open the publisher table. So if I double click that, now the publisher table is open. Notice that the field names or column names are listed across the top, and it's actually showing you or telling you what to type in. So for pub ID, you're going to type in KN, and this needs to be exact. If you miss a case or a letter, and then you're going to get it count wrong. So hit tab to go to the next field, F, tab again. So I'm going to continue to do this, but I'm going to pause this and not take up time recording me typing all this in. So I've entered in all the data. The last thing it says is close the table. So one thing you can do is you can click close here. Before you do that, you probably should hit save. If you don't save it and there's been changes and you just hit close, it should prompt you. So let's see. Oh, okay, it saved it. And you can also save it by hitting the X right here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close. So now we're going to go to step 3. It says open the books table and create a new record. Okay, so we're in books. We'll double click that. Notice that we can just scroll down here, and notice this asterisk that we saw on the previous screen. It's right here. So the asterisk means that's the new record. It's a blank row. So all new records always get added or appended. Notice I'm using the keyword append here. That's database speak, at the end of the table. So then you can always resort later on if that's what you need to do. So for the author code, they want to put in 15. Again, you don't need to watch me type this, so I'll just pause it here. So I've typed in all that information. Note that it needs to be exactly the way you see it on the screen in your directions. If not, you're going to get counted off and you'll have to fix it. You've only got X amount of times to fix it. Note here that I'm still on this record. Once I hit enter and go to the next record, or I hit tab, then that's when it gets saved. All right, so apparently I've already done that because there's an asterisk here. But if you're entering information in and don't hit enter or don't move off of that record, that data isn't saved. And so that's how Access works. So make sure you save the data that you've changed or you're entering as an entirely new record by moving off of it. when I say moving off, going to another record or going to the new record. Step 4 says sort the records in the books table by publication date in descending order. So we got publication date and descending. We'll be going from high to low, or largest to smallest. So that's descending order. Ascending, low to high. Step 5, open the maintain authors form in record 2 for Keith Mulberry, author ID 12, and add a new title to the subform. All right, so we're looking for a form. So here's the object, maintain authors. We're going to open that up. That probably should have closed the other one. Now notice here we have a form up here with some boxes to put in, and then we have another kind of form down here. This is the subform. So behind the scenes, you've got 2 tables in this one form, and that's that one-to-many relationship. So an author can have many books, right? And a book could have many authors. Right now, we're just putting in this one author ID for this. So we're looking for record 2. So notice it doesn't say Keith Mulberry up here. Notice that right here we can actually sort through the records that are in this subform. And if you look at the bottom of your screen here, we see there is another object here that allows us to sort through. So if I click here and go to the next record, you can see that is the Mulberry one. So we want to add a new title, so that's like a new book. So I've entered that information, and notice I had to tab over to see this last column where you could move this scroll bar here. Okay, remember what I said? You want to move off of that, make sure it gets saved. Now it says step 6, use the navigation bar to search for author ID 16 and edit the subform so that the stock amount is 6 instead of 496 for the book Follow the Stars Home. Okay, so the outer form here is the author here. We want to search for 16. So in order to do that, we need to click in author ID so it knows what fields we're searching for. Type 16. And we should see the stock amount for Follow the Stars Home. That's 496, and we need to change that to 6. Move off of that to save. Step 7 says open the publisher's book, publishers, books, and authors report, and check the report shows 3 books listed for Keith Mulberry as author. So here's a report that was built from these tables, and we'll show you how to do that later on. So we're looking for Keith Mulberry, and we see right here there's 3 listings for him, and his 3 books are there now, including the one we just entered. Continuing on, it says view the layout of the report in print preview, open the publisher's books and authors query, sort the query by publisher's name in ascending order. Okay, so view the layout of the report. So we've got this report, and if we scroll up to the top here, we see we've got view, And we click on that, and we want to do print preview. So we see it looks like that. Because you can't see it all. You can scroll down. Note how this is currently being sorted by author's last name. And it looks like it's in descending order, high to low. Or there really isn't any order here. All right. So it wants us to open up the query, this particular query. We'll go ahead and close this down, save it, close that down. We've just got this up on the screen. Open the query, and it wants us to sort the query by publisher's name. I'm assuming that's last name, in ascending. So low to high. So we have something like that. Step 8 says use the filter by selection to show only the books by the author whose first name is Stephen. So we go in the sort and filter group. We see that there's a selection option. So we'll click on that. And we want it to be in equals. And what are we looking for? We are looking for and apparently I got carried away here, so I need to undo this and not have Michael R up here. So I'm going to hit the toggle filter here. That brings everything back, and so we want to select Stephen here. Is what we want. So now we go back to selection equals Stephen. So now we have 4 records listed. Step 9 says sort the query by title in ascending order. Ascending, high, a low to high. So we did that. Probably need to close this now, or save it and then close it. Open the books table. Now I'm on step 10. Use the filter by form to create a filter that will identify all books published after 2010 with fewer than 100 items in stock. Apply the filter and preview the filter table. Close the table and save the changes. So again, we're in the sort and filter grouping here. And what we'll do is we'll go to this advanced area. This is where we can filter by form. So what they want here, published after, so we could put greater than 2010. So we put in there greater than 2010. And let's see, what other criteria are we looking for? We are looking for with fewer than 100 items. So what column? So stock amount, less than 100. So notice that when they put everything, or when you put your criteria on the same line here, that becomes an AND operation. So it's greater than 2010 for publication date and less than 100 for stock amount. If you put them on separate lines, that would have been an OR. So you could do an AND, OR, and then you're looking for something else, right, on another line, if we were to do that. Okay? Just moved everything over so you can see it. So you got that. Notice at the bottom of this screen there is an OR button, right, which takes you back and puts in some more stuff. I can do the look for and I get back to what I'm doing there. If I press the toggle filter, that's applying the filter. Notice I got a little cone here and a little cone here. So those are all after 2010 and they're all under 100 here. So we're ready for step 11. Step 11 says we want to save this thing now. So we will save and we will close. Guess they didn't want us to do anything here. We'll hit close. And we're ready to submit. Once we hit file, we could do a save again. I know that Dr. Thrasher, who taught this course before, seems to think that if you do a compact repair database before you finally get out, just make sure everything's closed, and then you literally want to come over here and shut access down by clicking on this X here, and now you're ready to submit. So I've gone back to where we were when we first downloaded the information. I just left that open. You don't have to leave that open on your screen. You can come back and click on the link in Blackboard to open this back up again. And now I'm going to choose the file to upload. So I've been working on this particular one. So let me move that into our square here. So I'm going to submit this one. And then I'm going to press the upload button. Once it's been uploaded, now I can just save that. That's where I was working on it and save it. I don't have to submit it yet. But once I'm done with everything, I'll hit submit for grading. So I hit close assignment. And then I will need to go back into my Pearson MyLab. It might be best if we just did that. Let me get into the weekly assignments and go to the week 1. From there, we scroll down and we'll get to Pearson's MyLab. And you would click on your MyIT content. And you would see something like the following. Now, I can click on grades to see what I got. And it looks like I got an 88.5 on this particular attempt. So what do? I can go to View Submissions. So I've changed browsers and gone into this through this link under the week 1 Pearson MyIT course content. So that'll bring you to this. You can see what I've taken, what my score was, and any attempts. So what I'm trying to show you is where you would go to see, okay, what did I miss? And how do I fix it so I can submit it to get more points? So we'll click on this because that's our only submission now. This is what you should have seen earlier. So notice we've got, if you can see this on the screen, it's showing us what our points are. I'm going to move that over just a little. So step 2, we got 16 out of 16. But on step 3, and we only got 10.5 out of 12, so we missed almost 2 points there. If I click this down arrow key here, It's going to expand that out and tell me exactly. So the title in record 2 in books table was not set to the innocence of gain. Chances are I misspelled that. So I can scroll down here, step 7, I missed 10 points there. If I expand that out, the query was not sorted by publisher's name field. The query was not sorted by publisher name field in ascending order. So I need to go back and correct that. If I do that and resubmit, then I'll get all the points. So hopefully you see how that works. And so for the second assignment, you'll be on your own. Please make sure you read that first chapter in Access. If you're looking for different things that you need to do, that should be able to tell you how to do that. And that's all I have to say for this guided access for this week 5.